Indeed, I'm going to switch to Linkurious Enterprise to provide you a demo of the platform. Okay, so Andrea set the stage for the demo. Basically, what you're seeing here is the result of the alert that Andrea explained, leveraging the two data preprocessing step, one to identify clusters of communities, and within those communities, retrieve basically nodes that, at least one node that have high centrality score. The result, as you can see, is that we have a first case that has been generated. Where we can see we have a couple of information regarding the generation date. We have information regarding the volume of total of transactions that transited through this specific community and the number of clients that are involved within this community. So let's go ahead and investigate it and see whether or not it's a suspicious and can be considered as a money mule ring. So the first thing we see here is the actual result of that case, and we have a small, like a case management panel here, so I can already assign the case to myself and start my investigation. Okay. So let's go ahead. So what we see here is a couple of bank accounts and account holders associated with those bank accounts. What we see, we have different bank accounts shaped differently. We have bank accounts who are bigger than the other, and typically these would be the one with the highest centrality score and one with a lower centrality score here. If we select them all, we can actually have this full view here where we can understand the whole bank accounts that we have in our community and have all the centrality score showcased here. We also see a couple of financial transactions, actually 37 financial transactions that transited through these bank accounts. We can have an estimation or have a view on the amount. So we have a lower bound and a higher bound at more than 2,000 euros worth of financial transactions. So at this time here, what I'm interested in is to understand a bit more the logic, I would say, on how this community works, how is it structured, and what is the flow of money between those bank accounts. The one, for example, here with the high centrality that could potentially be the hub account. And the other bank accounts, I want to follow the money, as we say, and run that type of investigation using graphs. The first thing I will do, since I have a lot of financial transaction, is I want to understand and really, as I said, do this follow the money investigation and understand the logic between the flow of money. So in order to do that, I'm going to select the bank accounts, and I'm going to run a first query called show money flow. We'll basically add an additional relationship linking or connecting bank accounts according to the net money flow between those two bank accounts. So what it will allow me to do is visualize between two bank accounts. Basically, if there's one bank account that has sent more money to the other bank account than it has received, it will create a relationship between this bank account to the other to really identify and understand what is the logic of flow between the different bank accounts. So I'm going to run the query here. You can see we've added some financial relationship model here in orange, specific properties, and we have the amount of the net money flow between those bank accounts. What I want to do now is, since I have that, I want just to filter out the individual transactions, and I can already see, visualize a bit better the flow of money between this bank account with the highest centrality score and to the other ones. But to make it even more clear, since we're working on consolidated amounts, I can focus on the highest amount. So I'm going to filter out the low amounts and leave only the highest amount. And now it becomes clear the structure, I would say, in the flow of money. We can see that there's a flow going from this bank account with the high centrality score, going to this bank account, then to this one, and finally to this one. So what we can understand at this point is that we have a entry point to this community and an exit point here, I would say, so both extremities of this community, where we might have the funds that entered the community in this potential ring of money mules through this bank account and exited through this one. But what I want to do now is, since we have both extremities of the graph here, I want to return external bank accounts that might be connected to this one and to this one, to understand which bank accounts and how did the funds enter this community, and to which bank account they exited. So in order to do that, I'm going to bring back individual transactions because we're going to need them here. Before doing so, since I'm going to add more bank accounts within my visualization, I want to just bring on a slight modification to the styling of those nodes so I don't lose sight of those important bank accounts. So I'm going to trigger focus mode, and I'm going to just add a specific styling to those nodes. Then I'm going to select the bank accounts again here. And I'm going to run a query returning external transactions. Okay, so now what we can see, so we have the two bank accounts. So the one here that we identified with the high centrality score being the entry point to this community, and we have the bank accounts here where the fund exited. So what I want to do is understand, as I can see, it's interesting because we can see a bunch of financial transactions to this bank account and other types of financial transactions going outside of this bank account. So I'm going to, what I want to do at this stage is leverage to understand if there's actually a timeline logic, I would say, to this financial transaction, to understand if there's, because what we would expect is that we would first have financial transactions going in that bank account, and then at the end, financial transaction going outside. So have prior and then later on the financial transaction exited this bank account. So I'm going to leverage here the timeline. I'm going to use the date properties here. So I'm going to run the timeline directly from here. So now everything is filtered. So I'm going to need you to pay attention to these two bank accounts here. So first, at the level of the months, we can see that there were the financial trend. The first transactions are the ones that actually transited towards this bank account here. Then we have a bunch more financial transactions entering the community. Then for this month here, we have a bunch more. So I'm going to go at the level actually of the day. I can see that I have a bit more, again, financial transactions coming in, still within the bank accounts inside the community. Again, as you can see, in the last 2 days, we can see that the financial transaction actually exited from this bank account to the external bank accounts that we have identified. So now it's become pretty clear that we have the bank account with the high centrality score, the most influential bank account that serves as a hub, so collected all those financial transactions here. The funds went through I would say, the bridge account within this community, the one that we have identified here. And within the last days here, the last few days, they actually exited towards these external bank accounts. So now we understood basically the structure of this community based on the influential of the nodes according to the amount of financial transactions that transit to them, and we added also another layer of analysis based on the timeline. It understood also the chronological logic of this community. So now that we've done this transactional analysis, I want to take it a bit further, a step further, and also understand if there are some interesting connections between the actual account holders. So in order to do that, I'm going to focus only on and go back to those bank accounts and the account holders. So I'm going to use here the lasso feature to select those bank accounts here. I'm going to go here, select them again. I'm going to perform an invert selection. Get them out of the way also. Refresh the layout. A couple of more here. Okay. And also just my bad. A couple of more here. Okay, and refresh the layout. I'm going to, so I have my bank accounts here. I'm just going to put back in the loop, in the graph, the account holders. Okay, and now what I want to do is understand if there are some, outside of just the transactional analysis, if there are some actual interesting connections between those account holders. So I'm going to select the person, run a query to find those types of connections, find connections here. And what we can see here is interesting is that we can see that some individuals actually here, for example, use the same device to so for example, these two individuals here, they use the same device. You can see here to actually access their banking application, for example, and perform those types of operation. So that's an interesting indication. We are able to find connections between and within the digital fingerprints used by this network, and we can see that it's a strong indication using the same device to access the banking application, perform the operation is a strong indication of potential, well, a link between those individuals and, well, most likely money mules. But what we see again is on this device, I have additional connections here, which is interesting. I'm going to return that, and I can see that this individual Tommy Bricks that we identified as being the account holder of the exit account, well, the bank account that was used to exit the funds. He performed some phone payments here, so a couple of them, a couple of phone payments. And as you can see here on the phone payments, they're all, so if I, for example, select them all at once, you can see that they are all performed on the same day, just the day on which this bank account received the funds from the community. So I can see that clearly it was another a way of exiting those accounts, the funds, by doing some phone payments, some purchasing. So that's interesting. So that's also a clear indication of another hallmark of money muling, where we had the funds entering this bank account, being transited through these transit account, exited through these bank accounts, sent to external funds, and also used to perform some purchases, some phone payments. What is interesting, so we have also a shared device. So the device, the shared IP address, sorry. So IP addresses, we can see here that this IP address has been roughly located in South Africa, whereas all the payments have been done in stores in the UK. So we can see also that it's kind of an indication of possibly techniques that were used to anonymize their or obfuscate their digital fingerprints. So I'm reaching the end of my investigation. What I can do at this stage is that I can select all the individuals in my network, and I can, for example, I can flag them as confirmed fraudsters, confirm money mules, for example, run that, and you can see change the specific design of this node to indicate that we've identify them as money mules. What this stage also, what I can do, since I'm within my case management interface, is that I can confirm that case. Let's say confirm money mule ring. Save it. I can ping, for example, our colleague. Let's say Andreas, my manager. I want to ask him to perform a 4-eyes check on this specific case. He will receive a notification and an invitation to review this case. Again, if I'm also to conclude this investigation, let's say I'm the manager. So, for example, Andrea received this investigation. He wants to understand how this specific case stands within the global, I would say, performance of my team. What I can do is leverage the ability or the capabilities of Linkurious of connecting to third-party tools such as BI tools like Microsoft Power BI, open a dashboard. So for that, just I'm going to change the sharing updates, sharing configuration of here. But what you can see now is a Microsoft Power BI dashboard that was built, fed with the data that is in my graph database and that my team is using to analyze money mules, where I can monitor the performance and keep track of the KPIs of my team in terms of global amounts of block funds for last year, for this year, and understand, basically monitor the performance of my team. And at any time, I can go back to Linkurious here using deep links. So really having a smooth integration between Linkurious and BI tools. So that concludes my investigation. I'm going to stop sharing at this stage and go back to the slides to conclude this presentation, this demo, and get started with the Q&A. All right, I think we can go back to the slides. Okay, so that was the demo. Just as a key takeaways before switching to Q&A, is that we've seen that money mule ring represent a significant challenge for banks and law enforcement due to several factors associated with the high velocity, the small amounts, and the unsuspecting nature of more and more of the money mules, that it's become imperative to have really leverage the hidden insights within the data to go beyond just the outliers of money mules and really identify potential connections between money mules that will help financial crime teams to re-identify them. So Linkurious Decision Intelligence Platform enable business teams to run graph algorithm at scale in real time to extract suspicious patterns within connected data that would otherwise go unnoticed with traditional tools. The combination of Linkurious detection features and risk investigation capabilities allows anti-financial crime to quickly identify, analyze, and report money mule threat in a proactively fashion and in real time.